Well, there are a lot of myths, and some also have. Okay, let's not get into that. Let's talk about some of the common myths. Like
Yeah.
eating carbs after 7 o'clock will make you fat,
Uh,
uh, or there are healthy and unhealthy foods.
mhm.
It's probably when you reduce an argument. There's a fallacy. It's called
Yeah.
ad absurdum, where you
Oh,
reduce an argument to absurdity.
yeah.
Then there is no original argument. So when I say there are no healthy and unhealthy foods, the
Yeah.
argument would reduce that, oh, you cannot eat pizza every single day. And if you eat
Mhm.
pizza every single day, you will get sick. That's you reducing an argument to
Yeah.
absurdity.
Yeah.
The argument is not whether pizza is healthy or not. Pizza is food.
Yeah.
You can get unhealthy eating pizza. You can also get unhealthy eating dal chawal every single
Right.
day if you eat it in large quantity, right? So
Yeah.
one of this myth, which very difficult for people to kind of wrap their head around, is that foods are not healthy or unhealthy.
Yeah.
You know, you talk about a burger. Let's dissect a burger. What exactly in the burger? A burger is lettuce. Is lettuce
True.
unhealthy? A
Yeah.
burger is cheese. Is cheese unhealthy?
Yes.
A burger has some meat. Is that unhealthy? Or if it's a vegetarian burger, it has paneer. Is that unhealthy?
Yeah.
It has some buns. Are those
Right.
unhealthy? Is a ketchup unhealthy? If individually these small things are not unhealthy, how come somebody combines them together and suddenly it becomes unhealthy?
Mhm.
The same happens with pizza. Is
Yeah.
maida unhealthy? A wheat pizza is also there. Is that unhealthy? Is cheese unhealthy? Are toppings unhealthy? Are those vegetables that come on top of the pizza, they unhealthy? But somebody
Yeah.
combines them together and suddenly the food becomes unhealthy. And similarly, people have this notion that there are superfoods. In
Yeah.
Europe, you
Yeah.
can't really call a food superfood because
Okay.
they've identified superfood as what they refer to as misnomer, which means not the appropriate definition or not the
Right.
right way to address certain thing.
Yeah.
Right? This can be big, huge, giant, but you can't call this huge or giant, right?
Yeah.
There's relative scale to everything. This can be maybe big, but you can't call this giant or large. Giant or large would be something else. So in a
Yeah.
similar manner, a food can be uh, calorie dense. A food
Yeah.
can be high in protein. A food can
Yes.
be high in satiety.
Yeah.
But you can't call a food a superfood. So
Yeah.
similarly, people need to understand that foods are not really good and bad. Foods are food. It's
Yeah.
how you eat them, how much you eat them. That's what determines if they're really good for you or not.
Yeah.
So the basic concept around this thing needs to be done and dusted with, and people
Yeah.
need to understand key things about food. That every food is high in either high or low in density, high or low in protein, which means and high or low in satiety. Right? Satiety is basically you have a hormone called leptin, right, which tells your brain that I need to eat food. It's a hunger hormone. In
Yeah.
case of foods which have poor satiety,
Yeah.
it pushes your leptin signals further, which means it tells your brain again and again, because there's a hedonic cycle, the reward cycle. So it's
Okay.
it's the same thing when you eat boiled potatoes.
Yeah.
You can't eat boiled potatoes a lot, or you can't eat a lot of boiled eggs, but suddenly you make potato chips, and you'd be able to eat a lot of potato chips. Why? Because potato chips are made in a way where they use the right kind of spices, the right kind of condiments, and they cook it in a way that you suddenly have this urge to keep eating them, right? That's the trick. It's the
Yeah.
same boiled potatoes, but when they are boiled potatoes, you're not going to eat them. But when they're cooked well, you're going to eat them.
Yeah.
And this is applicable to everything. You
Yeah.
eat bad food, you suddenly have like this poor appetite. You're like, yeah, food is not good enough. I'm not going to eat.
Mm.
And suddenly the food is tasty. You end
Yeah.
up eating it more, and that's the real trick. So basically the idea is that no food is good and bad. You just have to understand that foods are high in satiety and low in satiety. So for you to able to rightfully eat the amount of food, you just have to pick high satiety food over low satiety foods.
Okay.
So pizza and burger is not really bad, but it is
Mm.
very poor in satiety, which
Okay.
means that you will likely overeat pizza, you will likely
Yeah.
overeat burger. you won't restrict yourself to one slice. You'll end up eating all six.
Yeah.
So problem is not pizza. Problem is the six slices.